I am going to be taking the most popular allegations made against Hrithik by the public, Kangana and the concerned parties and determine how well they stand against logical reasoning. Let's begin. 1. He sleeps around with a lot of girls who are struggling newcomers. Now, if you simply analyze the phraseology, you would realize from the start it is built around to manipulate you to think against the guy. How? Observe the two words, struggling newcomer. These two words automatically create a sense of vulnerability, innocence, and the need for protection for these girls in your mind. And this happens subconsciously. So when you read or hear this statement, you're already looking at the guy with suspicion. And remember, you don't have any facts yet, but the bias has been invented. Now, to cement the suspicion, the context is presented to you, which is he sleeps with girls who are struggling newcomers. Struggling newcomers created an aura of sympathy in your brain. So what you read is he takes advantage of young, innocent girls who know nothing. So what does that make him? A monster. The first conclusion your brain draws is this man is a monster. You don't care for any facts. The language told you how to think. When I read the same sentence, I stop at he sleeps with a lot of girls. Then I ask myself two questions. Is it consensual? And are they adults? If yes, then I don't bother because of the simple philosophy we all share toward adults. They know what they're doing and it's their personal life. 2. He was cheating on his wife. Cheating in this case implies great wrong done to his wife behind her back. How did you reach that conclusion? Are you his ex-wife's friend? Family? Do you know something none of us knows? His ex-wife has been supporting him all the way through in this. She hasn't made any statement that she was cheated on. And it seems like they're still great friends. Cheating is when one party is invested in the relationship and the other is lying and secretly having affairs. To say he has cheated, you need to have concrete proof that their marriage fitted this description, which you don't. You don't know anything about their marriage. So, where do these wild assumptions come from? Revelations by Kangana, which also is a great name for her biography that comes with a warning. If you find your name in there, be prepared to be hated by millions of women in India and to be the face of every news story until Kangana's movie press tour ends, which doesn't help because she will have a new movie coming out soon. Yes, he is a cheater came to public viewing when Kangana shared her side of the story. Now, mind you, he is suing her for spreading lies about him. Lies such as he cheated on his wife with her. So, basically, everybody who has been calling him a cheating asshole does so because either they believe Kangana or want to hate him because this is no more a matter of who's speaking the truth. This is man versus woman. And naturally, if ever a man and a woman are embroiled in some controversy, just instinctively we conclude the man has to be the oppressor. Even though she has been the one partaking in the media circus, doing rounds of interviews, calling him names, insulting him, his father, talking about his ex-wife, personal details of his relationship with his ex-wife, his private life, making deeply personal jokes on him, which would essentially qualify as bullying because they are done in front of millions of people. What am I even saying? He's a man. Of course he's the oppressor. Back to the point. There are two sides of the story. What is the truth? None of us knows yet. So calling him a cheater basically implies you have no logical reasoning behind that, only bias in your heart. 3. He is a rich douchebag high on daddy's money. I saw a lot of girls using that as justification for why he is on the wrong. And I understand why they feel so. Take these three words, man, rich, douchebag. They fill the gaps so well that the narrative automatically builds itself. Nothing has to be told. This again is another example of divisive, manipulative language. You don't have to say anything, just use phrases and keywords that contain strong preconceived meanings and it adds more believability. Think about it, poor versus rich, powerful man against helpless woman. These narratives don't have to be written for you, they are age-old. Politicians use them all the time. One has to simply bring these strong narratives into language by suggestive keywords and a personal vendetta suddenly becomes an idea, invoking ideological battles we have all been fighting for very long, now all focused against one person. Now imagine the hatred. If you think I'm bullshitting, try it with these three keywords. Man, poor, douchebag. You either had to use your imagination or your mind went into thinking if you know someone like that. This happens because the moment you upset the pattern, the image disappears. Language is the strongest tool to control the minds of people. Also, if Kangana is so generally disgusted by rich douchebags that she is now calling him out for that, why did she only realize that after breaking up with him? Why didn't she bring such strong character traits into the decision-making process of dating him? Because love just happens, especially with rich douchebags. 4. He reneged or walked away from his promise of marriage. Truth be told, we don't know if this ever happened, but let's consider they dated and he did this. In that case, we are talking about two opposing statements. One, I want to marry. Two, I don't. The second one is obviously said later, from which we conclude a difference in time. We are talking about two phases in life. Now, there is a possibility that during one phase, a person might have felt a certain way, made some promises, thought that this was what he needed and felt complete. Then you transition to the second time period, in which he doesn't feel the same way anymore. To every person watching this who has had a breakup, didn't you at some point say to each other things like, I will never hurt you. I promise I will never leave you. We will always be together. We will get married and name our kids Bruce Wayne. What if I came to your door knocking and accused you of dishonestly saying, oh, you promised this to her in the year so and so. How dare you change your mind? You might say, with time, things changed. It wasn't working out for me. When I said that, I meant that. But later, it wasn't the right decision. And also, it's none of your fucking business. Now this obviously is a possibility. Another could be that he was lying to get laid. One more could be that she's making shit up. 5. He hired the top criminal lawyer. The inference a lot of people draw from this is he clearly intended to destroy Kangana. There is no other explanation to this, at least to my biased understanding. Wrong. There are plenty of logical possibilities. 1. He is stupid and filthy rich. So in order to find the best help for himself, he hired the best lawyer without caring for what kind. 2. The lawyer could have been an acquaintance or a friend. Again, this guy is a multi-millionaire. You really think he wouldn't be heavily acquainted with lawyers? You heard the word criminal, and immediately your brain thought, oh, he set out to do something very bad to her. Criminal is psychologically a brilliant verbal cue that makes you immediately think supervillain. Now, out of nowhere, you're imagining an expressionless, bald guy in a black suit wearing sharp glasses that makes him scary evil, and now he's going to use his super brain to destroy poor helpless Kangana who's just all alone. 6. He is a liar and using his power, position and money to suppress the truth. This statement very cleverly sells an assumption, which is what Kangana says is the truth. The narrative of powerful man suppressing the helpless woman fills you with so much emotion that it completely distracts you from the tiny fact that this whole premise is based on an assumption, not proven reality. Upon hearing this, your brain subconsciously makes you want to stand up for this woman. So let's scrutinize this assumption. Why are you more inclined to believe in Kangana's story than his? Because of few leaked emails? If they proved anything, this drama would have been over a long time ago. If she had any evidence to prove they were involved, she would have released them already. That became obvious to all of us by watching her on Aapki Adalat. She wasn't trying to hold anything back, keep anything private. She says they dated for 7 years. Simply ask yourself this. If you dated someone for 7 years, how many pictures of both of you together would you have on your phone, computer and yourself? 7 fucking years. Imagine all the parties, selfies, dinners, lunches, drives, vacation pictures, pics taken by friends, cousins, family. I'm not even considering the paparazzi. 7 years of relationship would produce a lot of proofs, not one-sided emails. What this entire episode has taught me is we are terrible at using our brains and wonderful at jumping on bandwagons. In today's time, when in suspicion, we tend to see and treat men and women differently. Women are automatically granted victimhood almost unconsciously. Men are greeted with pre-assumed guiltiness. A woman has to simply tell her story, a man needs to prove his. And that's what's fucked up. I don't care how this story unfolds, to be honest, because its stupidity is beyond my tolerance, and its media coverage is reflective of our perverse interest into the private affairs of others. I made this to show you that there are different ways to interpret the data you have so arrogantly formed such strong, hurtful opinions on against a human being. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and never forget, you are awesome.